Hey Gundam fans, currently my favorite Gundam robot is the Nightingale from this Bellator Chica's Children. I haven't seen this particular animation, but I'm looking forward to it showing up on Gundam Info one of these days. So here's the basic story if you want to pause through that. I'll just hit focus there for you. And here's some images from fandoms, the same fandom page. Okay. So it's time we discuss doing the model kit here. So this is the Gundam Artifact, which is, I believe, the smallest realistic looking model kits that Bandai makes for their Gundams. They have smaller figures, but they're like gashapons, like Converge and Gashapon Senshi, but those are like soft vinyl figures. And this is like a styrene, I assume it's styrene, a hard model kit. So it's odd that it actually has gum. Oh, when did this come out? This came out in 2021, so you might actually live if you chew on that. Oh, there's brown though right there, so I'm not going to chew on that. And this is number, I wasn't even paying attention. This is number 4 in the series. This wave, this is the very first wave of artifacts. I think they have 3 or 4 waves now, and I've done these 3 already. I'm just going in chronological order. Eventually I'm going to do every artifact. This one though, because it's my favorite, most probably my favorite mobile suit, I'm actually going to have to paint this one, so it's going to take a long time. It's going to be a long effort painting. And I'm going to go for these images, you know, I'm going to make it look, try to make it look realistic. The other ones, some of the other artifacts, I just do my own random colorways because I already have the Converge figures that are realistically colored. Okay, let's take a look at the instructions here. Hit focus. I guess it doesn't matter if I hit focus too much because it's all in Japanese. But yeah, looks pretty straightforward. One thing I noticed in other people's build videos is this thing has 3 main thrusters there under the, what are these called? Verniers? Binders. I don't know why they're called binders, but that's what everyone else says on YouTube, so who am I to doubt? I might have to 3D print my own extra thrusters or something. Alright, so it's just all this, I don't know what you would call this color. It's not yellow, it's not brown, it's not heavy cream, it's not really cream either, so tan? I guess that's the closest color I could come up with. So it's a tan, it's raw plastic, it still has good details like the real model kits. I mean, look at it, it's got all the panel grooves and some random recesses and stuff that you could add a panel liner to for details. It might actually have a little bit of articulation as well, but not here in the arms. I can see that's not round, that's like a rectangular peg, so. But I don't think these are really meant to be played with, they're not toys. So if you want something you can actually pose, you might want to get a Converge or a Gashapon Senshi or something like that. Alright. So as usual, I'm going to cut to some music and prep this thing up, and then we'll get to the review at the end. Okay, so we're back. Boy, this is a horribly long build, and it's not even that good compared to the photographs I see what other people do. It's like halfway as good as, maybe a third of the way as good as what I see other people do online. But anyways, I'll go over what I did, obviously. I painted the body silver, and then I shot a transparent red over it, a Vallejo red. And it's supposed to give it more depth and stuff, but I don't see that much depth to it, to be honest with you. But some of the paint chipped off, so I went over it again with a brush, and then it pleasantly looks all generally the same red now. I did clear coat this whole thing though, because the decals, might peel off or something like that. I added a whole bunch of metal details, as you can see as well. There was one major problem with the design of this thing, is putting this whole back carapace thing up into here. You see, the central piece contains this propellant tank as part of the whole frame, but this red part has to clear this part right here. And so basically you have to grind away a massive amount of the bottom side of this thing. It might be hard to tell, but in here, I had to grind away like a good ½ centimeter of material in order to get the clearance to put that piece up in there. Basically, the stock piece, you wouldn't even see that silver. It would just be all red. And I'm like, why isn't it going in? It's because it was just poorly designed. So keep that in mind. You should probably test fit this piece into this central piece before you paint everything. You might want to save some, it'll save you some time and hardship. Other than that, though, everything I think pieced together pretty well. I did make a minor modification to these binders here. The original one, it doesn't have these two thrusters, although the real Nightingale would have two thrusters there. I'm not sure why I guess it has to do with the molding process. I also don't think there was anything here, if I recall. It's been several months since I started this build. I wanted to make sure the paint dried, and I totally forgot about it. But anyways, in an effort to kind of add more detail back, I had these metal pieces. There's some sort of Gundam effect parts, and I just put some holes in here, and then I just have these metal pieces in those holes. Same with these two things. These are like the sleeves that go around a tube. They look like the piping on a Zaku, but they just so happen to be thrusters on this thing. So that's the two modifications I made to this model kit. The rest are just the standard etching parts that are an option kit, and that option kit also includes the decals, many of the decals that you see here. So yeah, like here's just a circular thing to help cover up the seam that was the halves of this. You can still kind of see the half seam here. These had a half seam this way, so I put some decals to try to cover it up a little bit, but you can still see it there. So you got to really prep up these parts with a lot of putty and sanding time, which I didn't do. So you get what you put into it. So anyways, more etching parts right into most of the thrusters here. They have metal pieces in them, and then I painted some gold in the middles to make them look like they could be actually exhausting. Actually, this is also a set screw. It's not a set screw, it's like a socket cap metric thing. So that's a hex you see in there. What else? Yeah, there's an etching right there, and this piece here. Yeah, etchings on these thrusters down here, all up in there, and then in these little knee joints, also here. Usually these 99 Neo Xeon things I think are supposed to be around here, but with so much detail here, I didn't put the decal there because it would cover up these pipes and all that stuff, right? See, it's quite three-dimensional here, so I just ended up putting them up on the binders there. Theoretically, you could pose a little bit of this. You can't pose this because it's not a round peg, but the shoulders here do have a round peg, and then the arms also have a round peg. So you could actually twist those, but mine are pretty much glued in place now. So this one actually is a little loose. That's odd. I actually put glue on that one. But anyways, and this is also a round peg. You could twist that, but I glued mine. You could also twist the hand, but I glued that. So, all right, some more etched pieces here and here. But the etching kit didn't have anything for these thrusters here, so that's just some gold paint in there. Okay, that's an etched piece as well. Some really big etched pieces for the behinds of these skirts, although you'd probably really never see them because in normal display mode. One cool etched piece is this one. This is one piece of etching, but it was etched in a way that you can bend these three louvers, right? So there's like air passing through. So that's pretty neat. It's just glued on these rectangular side ends. One thing the model kit is lacking is the booster tanks up in here. I'm used to seeing two giant booster tanks there, but maybe it's because there's three thrusters there. I don't know. It just seems awfully empty here. So they skimped out on that. But I guess in most display cases you would never see the booster tanks anyways, unless they're coming out here a little bit. Alright, well anyways, a whole bunch of etchings as you can see, And yeah, if I had to guess, I spent 40 to 50 hours to make this, which is an insane amount of time. But it seems like these small artifacts take longer than the larger Gundam kits because they're just so small. I have to wear magnifying glasses when I'm making this. So you might actually notice my head popping into a few shots of the build video. And the build video, I didn't even bother recording half of it because it's such a pain to actually try to record building something. So I don't know, you can slow it down and see what I did, but I'm guessing most people don't actually care about watching someone build a Gundam. As far as the majority goes, I do actually like watching other people do it, but in a speed up mode, that is. Alright, so I do have two other small Nightingales. This is the Gashapon Senshi one. So this is the next closest Nightingale in size, but it's still quite a bit, it's really wide as you can see. So I'm going to put that kind of behind it. It's just much wider, a little bit taller, and much goofier. And it's just raw plastic, you know? So it just doesn't have the nice luster or appearance of a painted model. And then the next smallest one would be the Converge. This is the limited one with the metallic finish. And that's probably the closest to what I built here. You notice the real Nightingale has white tanks, and I actually started with off-white tanks, but then it's really hard for white paint to cover up stuff, but any sort of metallic paint covers up stuff very easily, so I switched to silver later on. I put some extra details on that one, but this I believe is all stock. The detailing on this is just the way the model came, or the Converge figure came. It's not even a model. So those are the smallest of the Nightingales that I'm aware of that Bandai has allowed us to buy. Okay, I'm gonna get these guys out now and just show the three other artifacts I built, which all took a lot of time, but not as much as this. This seems the longest amount of time. So the first one is the Rick Dias. It's got a photo shift paint color scheme going. The second one is the EXS, and this one is the only matte finish one I have going. And then the last one I did is the Hainu, which is number 3, and you can see some articulation on that one. I don't go for color accuracy because I have the Converge figures with the colorways. So this is actually the closest to the accuracy that I built. But again, it took forever. It almost makes me want to hate the Gundam Artifact line. But I've already bought most of them, so I am going to eventually build all the artifacts. But I'm going to have to figure out a quicker way to do it. Maybe, I would think I'm just going to do the slap chop method. Just paint it all black and then hand paint the rest. I think I hand painted this one with just brushes. But these three are all using airbrushes and stuff, and it just takes time. But I gotta say, the etching kit really helps out. And the Nightingale also had a bunch of wings you could add. Kind of like here, you know, that's got a metallic wing on it. This came with like 8 of them, but I was just so tired of building it that I didn't even bother putting those little winglets on. It's quite interesting, because the Nightingale is the largest of the robots in the Gundam universe, yet it's the smallest of the models in Artifact. Like, this is the biggest, obviously, or tallest. Yeah, you might be curious. I would say it's around 2.5 inches, not even 2.5 inches, maybe 60 or 6 centimeters tall. So it's quite small, of course. Alright, let me get in on here really close here. Nightingale is my favorite Gundam still. It's just that oh boy, I really wish I could have just bought one of these painted by someone else. But oh well. So if you like me making these things, I am going to build the other ones, but I'm going to try to build them faster. because I just simply don't care about the other robots compared to this one. But we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind later on. Thank you for your patience in watching this, and hope to see you soon.